is Dragon League game number 3, Positive versus Elok. Let's go ahead and figure out what happened in this one. Oh wow, straight to the Tengen on move 3. Straight to the Tengen on move 3. Exciting. Alright, I'll be honest, I don't actually know how to respond to this move. I just accept the result for what it is. But I hate playing against it. I would honestly probably do the same thing. I know that this is good for black. I understand that it's good for black. But I tell my students, here's the thing. If I am a fighter, I am a fighter in the mid game. I'm not a fighter in the opening, right? I struggle to get out of the opening with an even result. So what ends up happening is I go into crazy what used to happen is I would go into really crazy variations that I just didn't understand. And I would fall behind 5 to 10 points in the opening. And then when I got to mid game, I would have to fight my brain out, and I would actually have to kill something to make the game feel comfortable to me. And that's because I would throw away so many points in the opening. So my thought these days is that I want to get out of the opening as fast as possible. And so that's why I like playing Josekis like this one. I like this one because nothing complicated happens. Nothing complicated happens. It is a very simple variation, and I could be very happy with this. And so I like playing variations that are uncomplicated in the opening. That way I can make it to the mid game and I can fight comfortably rather than fighting under the pressure of dying. And so whenever I see this move, all I can think of is how can I simplify this in simplest form? And I can see why White would want to play this way. It is like, hey, I have no idea what trick you have up your sleeves, so I'm going to let you trick me, and I will give you a small lead. And so I think White chose to do exactly what I would probably do, is simply give up the outside, just take the corner, and just simply be happy with it. Just be as happy as possible with it. I like Jake's move. Again, Jake is a really tricky player. He is going to put you in a position where you want like he's going to put you in a position where he's trying to make you fight, right? Because we could say that maybe black uh I guess this is kind of a simple result. But the idea is that white is going to end up going in this direction, which is toward the wall that white gave him, which makes these two stones easily attackable. White says they don't want to go in that direction. Understandable, understandable. But basically, the idea is that black's goal is to get whites to fight at every possible turn. C3 is weird. I don't think there's a C3 on the board. I think he meant C4. Yes, C4 is probably bad. I think it is slow, at the very least. What is this? I actually don't know this. So I have a complaint with this is that this stone feels almost strange. It feels very out of place. It almost feels like we want to play this, but then we get into this situation and we've got these two stones here with this base that feels very awkward. It feels like we're going to die. It feels like we're being pressured, and we're going to be very unhappy with this. However, I don't know if this move makes that all go away. Um, I almost feel like I would rather, again, I would probably still play something as simple as possible, and I would probably just let black have it. I don't think we're that far behind. We have to think about it. Black has a corner. Black has a corner, right? This is not points. These are not points. And then black has these sides, right? Like these are the sides that black has. And even then, we don't we're not counting these as points because they're not points yet. And so this is all black has. And white is going to take Sente, right? And so when you think about it, it's actually not that bad, and we could probably play a little light. So we probably don't need to save this stone. We don't have to instantly risk everything on it. Because this move feels really strange. I can only hope that white knows how to play this. Yeah, we're getting into a splitting fight. See, this is a Ryan. This stone is a Ryan. This is a Ryan, and we've created a Ryan where we now feel we have to save this stone. And I know this Ryan was created earlier on in the game, but the problem is that we don't have to treat it like that. We could just let it go. We can just let it go, but instead we're kind of like, hey, we're sending in reinforcements, and that's just not what we want to do. That is not what we want to do, especially if we're going to play like this, where we're just like, hey, I'm going to like take the corner, but then I'm also going to save this stone at the same time. That is very hard. I don't like this response. I think it's very light. Um, I would probably cut, honestly. I would probably cut immediately. Yeah, I would probably cut immediately. But I do think that Black's thought of, hey, this is actually pretty big. But this goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? Where I was saying how I think that we could be happy as white, just simply taking the outside. And so I feel like this is not the best that Black can do. Also, I need to turn off this AI. 1 second.
Review started.
I always forget to push it, and then it starts yelling at me. But yeah, so if we were happy with the outside earlier, we must be a little bit happy now that we can now take the outside. However, I don't know how I feel about this. I would probably, what would I even do here? This is so complicated. This is 110% a Jake game. This is 110% a Jake game. What would I even do here? I would be tempted to give up the stone, honestly. I would be tempted to give up the stone. And then just accept this. And then if black pushes through, block, sure. He doesn't really change much. But I would still be willing to give up this. Because now, instead of having our corner simply, now we kind of have a wall instead. And I don't know if that's better or worse than having our corner originally. But either way, this is kind of what we accept. This is the punishment. The punishment is that we're losing our corner for it. This is too greedy for white. We can't hold this. We can't hold this at all. Yeah, we can't play this way. White should connect. These are cutting stones. Just let black have this connection. And we should attack the bottom instead. I guess white's thought is they would still probably get this, but I feel like, are we actually going to get that? I still feel like black can disconnect here, and I don't know if that's good enough for white or black. Like, I would feel comfortable as black personally, but I don't like the idea of giving white this push through and potentially living here. This is kind of like an all in. Like, we're all inning on this. We're like, we're 110% killing this. If white, doesn't die, the game's basically over. Wow, Tanuki, really? That is greedy. That is greedy. We should not be Tanuki here. We should not be Tanuki here. Especially when our opponent plays a move like this. This move is, hey, I want you to die. I want you to just drop dead on the board. And White's just like, you know what? You don't have nothing on me, okay? I would be so terrified of this, and Black is going to severely punish this. Yeah, this is just bad for White. I would not want to play this way. And so Black finally Tanukis. Okay, I would still attack this. I would honestly still feel privileged to attack this. I mean, where's White gonna run? Towards your point? Towards your wall? I would still want to attack this, honestly. All right, let's see. Okay, cut it off. Okay, don't cut it off then. But I guess we're pushing through anyway. So, for reference, white is threatening to push through here like this. All right, let's go ahead and speed up and see what happens. This game is so complicated. Okay, so white is looking dead. So white is looking dead. So what could white have done? What could white have done? I would not try to connect up to that. I would not try to connect up to that. And I wouldn't try to connect up to it because we don't need to. Our goal should be to live. And we just want to live. And we would be happy with simply living. And so our goal should be to just make 2 eyes. This is saying that we are required to connect up. We are not required to connect up, and I would just simply say, hey, here's my eye. What are you going to do about it? I would stop there. I would not make it more complicated than that. Yep. Black played that cut well. I would not even respond to this move. I would just go and confirm. I would double tap. I would be like, you're dead. I would 110% double tap. Though maybe you don't need to. Maybe Jake read that it was just dead. Because technically it is just dead. But I would almost want to be certain. I am the double tap type person, so I would just make sure it's dead. I would confirm. Anyway, yeah. And it just kind of looks like white ended up playing away here and then got really heavily attacked for it.